The real estate market collapse may just be upon us. The market may have just gone from really, really good to really, really bad, really, really fast. Now, why am I saying this? Am I just pulling tricks out of a hat and speculating, or do I actually have objective evidence that we're leaning back on to actually speculate that yes, maybe just in fact, there will be a real estate collapse coming sometime very, very soon? Well, all of the details will be revealed in this video, so let's get into it. But before we do, make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video, as it's totally free to do so. Thank you, I really appreciate it. And let's talk through this. So now, this is not just speculation. It is actually being backed up by objective evidence, and that is the expiration of the eviction moratorium. Now, it is actually estimated that 6+ million people are potentially facing eviction as a result of the eviction moratorium expiration. Now, let's just be totally real. That's a really sad situation. 6 million plus people potentially going to be evicted as a result of this expiration. I mean, I don't really care who you are. That's just a straight up sad situation, right? A lot of people really being hurt right now. But here's the deal. As a result of this, there may just be a huge flood and supply influx onto the real estate market, as landlords might just be looking at this current situation saying, you know what? This eviction moratorium, I'm just going to unload this property. I'm going to get rid of it. I'm sick of this. I just want to be done. I'm just going to sell the property. Well, there's probably a lot of people out there thinking the exact same thing right now. Now, that is why I'm saying this may actually result in a real estate market collapse. Now, do I think this is going to be a long-term collapse? No. In fact, if I had to say anything, this would probably be more like a flash crash. Do you remember the flash crash in the stock market about 10 years ago in, I believe it was 2011, May of 2011? Over the course of just a couple hours, the market collapsed by a huge percentage at that point. I don't remember the exact percentage, but at the time, I was actively trading the market and I was witnessing it right there in real time. That was a pretty fun time, if you know what I mean. So the deal is, I would anticipate it's probably going to be something very similar to a flash crash in the real estate market. Now, it's probably not going to be something that happens over the course of just a few hours, but rather I would anticipate it's probably something that's going to happen over the course of a few months, and that's probably about it. Because here's the thing. We don't exactly know how much supply of real estate is going to hit the market. We don't know at what price point all of these homes will be priced, right? I would anticipate probably $250,000 and less would probably be the vast majority of all these properties hitting the market. We also don't know how much demand is out there in the market right now. Will all of the demand out there actually absorb all of the supply, or will there be way more supply than there is demand? If that is the case, if there is way more supply than demand, then ultimately prices must go lower. It's a simple function of supply and demand, right? When you have more supply than demand, prices go way down very fast. When you have an imbalance, right, obviously it has to adjust for that. However, if there is equally as much demand as supply, well then there's not going to be a crash. It's simply just going to hit the market and be absorbed as quickly as it's hitting the market. But if there happens to be a ton of demand out there and all of the supply, just hits the market and is absorbed, then it won't really do anything. It won't have any impact. However, it all comes down to how quickly all of these homes start hitting the market. Do they all hit simultaneously over the course of a few days and or weeks, maybe within a month? Or is it kind of like a small trickle that comes into the market? All of that is going to play a huge role in seeing how big this market collapse could actually be. Now, here's the thing. Let's lay out a scenario. Let's just say all of a sudden, within 1 month or so, we have, say, 5 million extra homes hit the market. I'm just throwing out a random number. If it all hits the market within a course of about 1 month, well, yeah, you're absolutely going to see some kind of crash then, right? It'll probably be very short-lived because there are actually a lot of buyers out there right now. Even during this time when prices continue to rocket higher, there still will be a lot of buyers out there. The question will be, how many buyers will actually start to step up and start taking on all of these new homes that are hitting the markets, right? It's also going to be indicated by area, too. I mean, it could be state, city, county. It could be down to the exact neighborhoods, really. I mean, realistically, there could be like massive real estate collapses in some areas. Meanwhile, other areas may just take on all that supply and just absorb it and then just keep on running. So it'll be specific to each and every market, but we'll have to see that as it starts hitting. But another thing, too, maybe for some reason, hopefully they kind of just continue to extend out this eviction moratorium. Because, I mean, realistically, the federal government, they've been doing all these different measures to protect renters and things like that, which is great. But at the same time, they should also be looking out for the landlords because at the end of the day, they also have a lot of expenses to keep up these properties. Pay the bills, pay the mortgages, pay the utilities, pay the property taxes, right? You can't get behind on property taxes. Otherwise, you may just kiss that property goodbye. If you get way too far behind, eventually your property may be foreclosed upon as tax foreclosure, right? It's just a sad situation all around. But either way, we need to watch this very closely because this could actually be a massive influx in the real estate market. Now, we need to continue watching this. We really won't know until all of a sudden we start to see a bunch of properties start hitting the market. And it could be different areas have way more inventory than what other markets have, right? Let's just say some areas in the Midwest, for example, all of a sudden have a lot of properties hitting the market. Meanwhile, maybe like the East or West Coast, or let's just say the West Coast, for example. The West Coast may not have just as many rental properties over there available as maybe like the Midwest. The Midwest has historically a lot more rentals available than like the West Coast, simply because there's just not as much opportunity on the West Coast for rental properties. Therefore, a lot of people typically find their way into the Midwest. So another example, there may just be a lot of inventory hitting the market all of a sudden in the Midwest, if that all of a sudden makes sense. So we really won't know until we start to see all of these numbers kind of hitting the markets and seeing like, okay, we can start to kind of gauge what's going on. Now, here's the thing. Of course, we don't want anybody to lose their homes. We don't want anybody to be evicted. We just want everybody to be able to stay in their homes. It'd be really nice if people could just, if the federal government would just step up and actually help out landlords and help them kind of get by during this time so that nobody really needs to be displaced in any way, whether it's tenants, landlords, or basically anybody. However, if this actually does go through, no additional relief is sent out for tenants, no additional relief is sent out for landlords, well then you've got to believe that yes, probably a lot of properties will start hitting the markets. So if you just so happen to be an opportunist and you just so happen to be in the market to buy some real estate, you may be looking at a really good opportunity here pretty soon, as landlords may just be saying, you know what, I don't really care what happens to this property. I just want to get rid of it. I just want to sell it right now. I just want to get a moderately good price for it. Either way, I just want to wash my hands of it very quickly. If you're one of these people who is looking for a house right now, looking to buy maybe a house to live in, maybe you're looking for a place to pick up as a rental, who knows what? Maybe you're looking for a fix and flip. It doesn't really matter. There's going to be a ton of opportunity. If you're one of these people, I would say start watching very closely because you're probably going to start to see some of these properties hitting very, very soon. And there's probably other people out there just like you who are looking for some opportunity, and they might start snapping these things up really quickly, but it's all going to depend on how many of these are actually hitting the market. Will all of the supply overwhelm the buyers? If that's the case, it's going to be like, picking out fish in a barrel, if you know what I mean, right? If that's the case, then you might have a lot of houses to choose from. However, if there's a lot of buyers out there right now, you might have to be quick on buying some properties if that's what you're looking for. But either way, at the end of the day, it's just all around kind of a sad situation. A lot of people are being hurt right now. Tenants, landlords, all across the board, everybody, for the most part, just basically needs relief. But this is something we are potentially facing. And if they don't continue to extend this thing out even further, then, this could probably likely what's going to happen going forward here over probably the short term. I highly doubt this is going to crash the real estate market for a long period of time. I would say, if anything, a few months at most, and then all the buyers are going to step right back in, absorb all that supply, and they'll just off to the races once again. But I don't think this is going to be like a long-term, 1 year or 2 year kind of crash on the market. I highly, highly doubt that. I think it's just going to be a matter of a few months, maybe 3-4 months, something like that at most. But it all comes down to, like we said earlier, how quickly all of these properties hit the market. If it's a trickle, it's probably not going to have any effect. If it's all of a sudden a huge dump on the market, if all of a sudden a couple million homes hit the market simultaneously, well then yeah, it's going to be an interesting game at that point. So either way, we'll have to watch the developments going forward over the coming days and weeks here, but it might get interesting really, really fast here. So either way, I just hope at the end of the day, everybody's staying safe right now. I hope everybody is, ultimately staying in their homes. I mean, seriously, it's just a sad situation all around. But either way, it's kind of what we're facing right now. Kind of a weird situation since early 2020. A lot of weird things are going on right now, right? So anyway, I want to lay this out there, let you know what I'm looking at, what I'm thinking. We'll have to let you know, but I'll probably give you another update here in maybe like another, a couple weeks, maybe a month or something like that when I start to see all this stuff happening. And if they extend it out, obviously we'll just have to continue waiting. And, nothing's going to happen if they extend out the eviction moratorium. But either way, just want to let you know, make sure to hit that subscribe button right down below the video. I hope you enjoyed this to some degree, and I hope you maybe learned something from it. But I'll be back, and I will keep you posted with everything that I'm seeing. So thanks again, everyone. I truly appreciate it, and I will see you again later